The truth is that we just don't have that sort of evidence yet for e-cigarette or vaping use. What it seems is that there are many fewer constituents to e-vapor, many fewer chemicals. There's no tar, there's no carbon monoxide. There are things, though, that are known to cause cancer, particularly when the e-cigarette or e-vapor is combusted. And so we infer from that there is risk, but the story is not yet out with regards to how bad that risk is.
So, doctor, I want to get your take. Are e-cigarettes less or more or as dangerous as regular cigarettes?
Well, I agree with the one commentator. E-cigarettes have been shown by the Royal College of Physicians, one of the most prestigious medical societies in the world, to be no more than 5% as hazardous as smoking cigarettes.
Well, that's an interesting commentary. So I'm a cardiac surgeon by training and profession, been doing that for close to about 30 years. Looked at the chromatography science of vaping, because it's not a complex, as much as many people will tell you, well, we don't know what's in vape juice, we don't know what's in vapor. We actually do know a lot about it. I mean, it's a first-year undergraduate chemistry experiment to be able to do liquid chromatography and analysis of vaping, so there's no mystery about it. It's not a tobacco product. There's no tobacco in it. It's the same nicotine. I mean, we all know vaping can be done with or without nicotine, but it said if the ones that contain nicotine, it's the same nicotine that you would find in a patch or a gum. It's pharmaceutical. There's nothing evil about the vaping nicotine and nothing, purifying about the pharma nicotine.
And here is the bell jar with cigarette smoke.
I mean, it just is so revolting. Look at that. There's loads of it. And this is only after 1 month.
So now let's have a look at the e-cigarette.
Let's just see. A little bit of vapour. That's the only one that's really got much in the way of colour. Just feels wet.
My research shows that e-cigarettes are significantly less harmful than cigarettes. A big reason for this is the tar, which you can see here, which is not produced by e-cigarettes, but produced by cigarettes. The impact of using e-cigarettes in the long term is very similar to using licensed nicotine products such as nicotine patches or nicotine gum, as you can see here when you compare the control jar with the vapor jar.
Using e-cigarettes does differ from tobacco in a very clear way, which is that it doesn't involve inhaling tobacco smoke. And as the constituents of smoke are the things that kill smokers, that has to be a good thing.
People die from the tar, the other constituents of smoke, but not the nicotine. So the nicotine isn't the harmful component. And electronic cigarettes allow smokers to get the nicotine without all the other harmful stuff that comes along in cigarette smoke.
We don't need to be concerned about the nicotine in e-cigarettes, particularly obviously for smokers, because they're already using nicotine in a far more dangerous form. And we know from studies that nicotine is relatively safe.
So most things we do in life carry a risk. So for example, driving cars. Cars cause lots of road accidents, lots of people killed on the roads, but we don't stop people driving. We try to make them less harmful. So harm reduction is about enabling people to continue doing that thing, but to do it in a less harmful way.
So we can be confident that electronic cigarettes are much less hazardous than tobacco cigarettes.
Published November 2017 in the journal Nature, the study is the exact type of longitudinal observational research vaping critics have been calling for. Dr. Pelosa and his team followed 9 adult e-cigarette users that vape daily and who have never smoked over a period of 3.5 years. The team measured and tracked blood pressure, heart rate, and body weight, lung function, lung inflammation, and respiratory symptoms. Nitric oxide and carbon monoxide levels in exhaled breath were measured, and high-resolution computer scans of the lungs were reviewed. After comparing results with a carefully matched control group, the study found no significant changes in any of the health outcomes investigated. Dr. Pelosa, let me ask you directly, are smokers risking their health by switching to vaping?
If a smoker switch to these products is not risking his health, it's actually improving his health. Case closed. I mean, I think there's nobody else in the world with the experience I have, with many clinical experience I have with vapors in the clinics, in the smoking cessation centers, and never been seeing anything going wrong with them.
Dr. Pelosa, why was the study modeled on never smokers who vape daily?
Zero smoking history is important. Why is that important? Simple. Because any switching study, if you want to measure risk reduction or harm reduction in switching study, we will need always to compromise with the background damage that is being already caused by smoking. Of course, I might have had a study that was 7 years long, but I'm sure these people would have said that that length was not enough. When the data doesn't conform to your preformed ideology, it is never enough. However, if by chance I would have found even a single participant with a big lung problem or with some substantial lung damage in the high-resolution CT scan, I would have been famous.
That science shows nicotine can harm teens' developing brains. What do we really know about that?
Oh my God. There is very little evidence in human that nicotine can cause that kind of a problem. Most of the evidence comes from animal models, from rodents. And I listen to this frenzy of activity of adolescents and minors using vape products. I really question whether this is a problem of parents' accountability, because I don't really think somebody age 15 can just go in a shop and buy these products. I don't really think somebody age 15 can steal a credit card and buy these products on the internet.
Final question, Dr. Pelosa. Why is there such an imbalance in news coverage, skewing heavily towards scare stories on vaping?
I think it's very well known that bad news dominates the headlines, and e-cigarette stories are no exception.
The National Academy of Sciences, Engineering, and Medicine have concluded that vaping is substantially less dangerous than smoking. I, like many of my colleagues, believe that as a public health community, we have gone overboard on emphasizing the risks to kids and downplayed the potential of vaping to help adults who are smokers to quit smoking. Everybody wants to keep nicotine and tobacco products out of the hands and indeed the mouths of kids, and everybody wants to help adult smokers to quit. Larger and larger percentages of American adults now believe that vaping is as dangerous as or more dangerous than smoking, which could not be further from the truth. But that's a result of the messaging that has kind of leaked out into society as a whole. We're not managing to target messages to the right groups. Smokers share the belief that vaping is dangerous. We need to get the message to adult smokers that vaping is a viable alternative if they're not able to quit smoking otherwise.